In the quiet halls of Windsor Castle, where the royal family's most treasured secrets are whispered through the centuries, old walls, a tale unfolds that is rarely told. It's the story of Princess Anne, one of the most misunderstood royals, whose quiet rebellion against royal norms would forever change the way the world viewed the British monarchy. Princess Anne was not just another royal figure who existed to fulfill her ceremonial duties. Princess Anne carved her own path and dared to be different in a world that demanded conformity. Her legacy is one of strength, resilience, and transformation, and her story has much more depth than the headlines often reveal. Princess Anne was born on August 15, 1950, into the British royal family, during a time when the world was still recovering from the devastation of World War II. The British Empire was undergoing significant changes, and the monarchy was facing unprecedented challenges. But within the walls of Windsor Castle, a child was growing up who would go on to redefine what it meant to be a modern royal. The world had already seen the rise of Queen Elizabeth II and had watched her navigate her reign. But Princess Anne's path would be vastly different. Though she would eventually grow into one of the most beloved and respected members of the royal family, her journey would be fraught with struggles and challenges that few could understand. Growing up in the royal family, Princess Anne's life was far from the fairy tale that many imagined. While the world watched as the royal children were presented at public events, their childhood was far from picture perfect. Anne and her older brother Charles were often left in the care of nannies, while their parents, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, traveled the world fulfilling royal duties. The emotional distance between Anne and her parents shaped her from a young age, making her more self-reliant than many other children of her generation. While her siblings might have had the luxury of being pampered and indulged, Anne learned early on to fend for herself. She was independent and determined, qualities that would shape her personality for the rest of her life. Princess Anne's independence did not end with her childhood. As she entered adulthood, she refused to be defined by the traditional roles that other royal women were expected to play. While other members of the royal family were content with being seen but not heard, Anne boldly stepped out of the shadows and demanded to be treated as a full and equal member of the royal family. She refused to live within the constraints of tradition, and this rebellion would become one of the hallmarks of her life. From her athletic abilities to her directness and her commitment to public service, Princess Anne was determined to create her own identity and shape her own future. One of Princess Anne's most defining characteristics was her unwavering commitment to public service. While many royals have traditionally seen their roles as a duty or a form of public service, Anne took her responsibilities much more seriously. Her public duties were not just ceremonial, they were a personal calling. She wanted to make a real difference in the world. Her commitment to charitable causes was evident from a young age, and she became actively involved in many organizations throughout her life. Perhaps her most well-known role was as the president of Save the Children, a position she held from 1970 to 2017. But unlike many royal figures who merely attended charity events and posed for photos, Anne got directly involved in the work. She traveled to some of the most impoverished and dangerous parts of the world to see the realities of life for children facing hardships. Anne's involvement in Save the Children wasn't just about looking good in front of the cameras. She spent time in refugee camps, spoke to children in need, and did everything she could to bring attention to the issues that were often ignored. She didn't just show up for the photo ops. She was there on the ground, making real contributions and helping to bring about change. This hands-on approach to charity work set Anne apart from many of her royal peers, who took a much more passive role in their public duties. Anne believed that being royal wasn't just about wearing fancy clothes and attending events. It was about using her position to make a tangible difference in the world. Despite her dedication to service and her genuine desire to help others, Princess Anne's life within the royal family was not without its challenges. The royal family, often seen as a united and impenetrable institution, was experiencing deep internal conflicts that were hidden from the public eye. The most significant of these tensions came from the situation involving Prince Andrew, which caused a rift between Anne and her brother King Charles. The royal family's relationship, once thought to be unbreakable, was tested by disagreements over how to handle the controversy surrounding Prince Andrew. This issue became a dividing line for the family, with Princess Anne and other siblings expressing their dissatisfaction with how Charles was handling the situation. The royal lodge, where Prince Andrew had refused to vacate, became a symbol of the growing tensions within the family. At the heart of this conflict was Princess Anne's frustration with how Charles handled the inheritance of Queen Elizabeth's estate. While Charles inherited the entirety of his mother's wealth, Anne and her siblings felt overlooked and disregarded. This was not just about money, it was about feeling valued and recognized within the family. The royal family, which had once appeared so united, was now showing signs of deep division. Anne's disappointment in her brother was not just about financial matters, but about leadership and family dynamics. She had always been close to Charles, and the cracks in their relationship were deeply painful. Princess Anne's frustration with her brother Charles didn't mean she abandoned her commitment to the royal family. Despite the growing tensions, she doubled down on her dedication to her duties. As Charles faced the challenges of becoming king, Anne became a steady and supportive presence. She offered her strength and loyalty when the family needed it most. Though her relationship with Charles was strained, Anne continued to serve the monarchy with grace and determination. Her quiet strength was a pillar of support for the family during turbulent times, and her loyalty to the crown never wavered. Perhaps one of Princess Anne's most surprising and controversial decisions was her choice to raise her children, Zara and Peter, without royal titles. This was a bold move that directly challenged centuries of royal tradition. In a family where titles and birthrights are everything, Anne made the radical decision to remove those titles from her children, believing that nobility came from one's actions and character rather than royal birth. This was not only a personal choice, but also a statement. Anne showed that true royalty is about service, dedication, and integrity, not just about holding a title. Her decision allowed Zara and Peter to live more normal lives, away from the intense pressure and scrutiny that often comes with royal titles. It also demonstrated Anne's progressive thinking, that the royal family could evolve and change to meet the needs of modern times. Princess Anne's love for equestrian sports was another way she proved she wasn't interested in following tradition just because it was expected. Her passion for horses and equestrian competitions became one of the defining aspects of her life. Anne became an Olympic-level equestrian, showing that royalty could be about skill, hard work, and talent, not just status. She didn't just attend equestrian events as a royal figure, she competed in them, proving that she was not just a figurehead. Her dedication to the sport showed the world that being royal didn't mean living a life of luxury and ease. It could mean hard work, perseverance, and determination to succeed in a field that had nothing to do with her royal title. Her daughter Zara followed in her footsteps, carrying on the royal family's equestrian legacy. But Anne's passion for horses was not just about competition. It was also about finding balance and peace in her life. It was an outlet for her to disconnect from the pressures of being a royal and to find joy in something personal. In many ways, her connection to horses mirrored her approach to life, competitive, determined, and fiercely independent. Princess Anne's commitment to duty went beyond her charity work and her passion for equestrian sports. It was woven into every aspect of her life. While other royals may have seen their public engagements as a burden, Anne embraced them as an opportunity to make a difference. Whether it was through her work with the University of London or her support for various educational and health organizations, Anne used her position to improve the lives of others. She understood that being a member of the royal family meant more than just attending lavish parties and ceremonies. It meant serving the people, and she took that responsibility seriously. Princess Anne's legacy is one that goes beyond royal titles, wealth, and public appearances. It is a legacy of service, strength, and resilience. She proved that a royal life could be about much more than living in a castle and attending events. It could be about making a difference in the world, about challenging tradition when it was necessary, and about staying true to oneself despite the pressures of public life. Her life is a reminder that true royalty doesn't come from titles or wealth. It comes from character, from the way you treat others, and from the impact you have on the world around you. Princess Anne's legacy is not just about what she did for the monarchy, but about how she lived her life and how she helped to redefine what it means to be a royal in the modern world. As we reflect on Princess Anne's journey, we can see how she quietly revolutionized the royal family. She didn't do it with loud protests or dramatic gestures. Instead, she did it through her actions, through her commitment to service, her loyalty to the crown, and her ability to challenge tradition when it was necessary. She showed that the royal family could evolve, adapt, and thrive in the modern world without losing its core values. So, as the royal family continues to navigate the challenges of the 21st century, we must ask, will they continue to follow the example set by Princess Anne, or will they cling to outdated traditions? One thing is certain, Princess Anne's legacy will continue to inspire future generations, not just within the royal family, but for anyone who believes that true royalty comes from within. And in the end, that's the most powerful legacy anyone can leave behind.